What is up, guys? Welcome back to our channel. Today we're talking about how to make a layer mask in Photoshop. Let's go. Been a minute since we made a tutorial. Sorry for the delay. My parents were here. We were doing family time. Very important to spend time with family. Not sure when I'm gonna get to see those guys again, so a little bit of a break, but we're back, and today I'm gonna show you guys how to make a layer mask in Photoshop. Knowing how layer masks work and how to make a layer mask will be super useful in your career as a photographer, a designer, even if you're doing, special effects in video. It's just a good concept to know. A couple of weeks ago, we went up to Toronto and we took a bunch of photos in the city. You guys may have seen this photo on our Instagram account. Little trick, that little motion blur action was not actually done in camera. I did it in Photoshop. I use Lightroom mostly to edit my photos. I usually don't often bring things into Photoshop, but if I want to do something a little more complex, like cut somebody out or swap somebody's face or fix up, some hair or replace the sky, then that is when I will bring it into Photoshop. I actually use Photoshop more for graphic design stuff, so making thumbnails, posters, things like that, just to make things interesting. So we're gonna look at these two photos. We've got the one photo with the bus in the foreground, and then we got the photo of me walking across the street. I've already processed these in Lightroom already to the way I want them to look. So my last step now is going to be putting the bus into the photo of me walking across the street. So the first thing I'm gonna do is select both of those photos in Lightroom, and I'm gonna open them up as layers in Photoshop. It's going to take both the photos, combine them into one file, and if you've shot a picture on a tripod or anything like that, then this will ensure all your shots are lined up perfectly, so when you make the layer mask, you don't really have to worry too much about trying to line everything up in the photo. Okay, so you can see here in Photoshop we have two layers. One is the layer of the bus and one is the layer of me. I am just going to come down here onto this little square with a circle in it. That is the icon? Oh my God. That is the icon to make a layer mask. So what you're gonna do is just gonna click on that, and it's gonna put a white box on that layer. The layer is white, and that means that the whole image that the layer mask is on is visible. If that was black, then you would not see the actual photo. So just keep that in mind. White means it's revealed, black means it's taken away. And that concept will apply when we start painting in with the brushes. If I paint a black brush on a white layer mask, it will take away from the layer mask. The nice thing about layer masks is that they are editable. Hard word to say, editable. It's lossless, so you can go back and paint in, paint out. Once you take things away, you can still bring them back. Unlike the erase tool, once you erase, your image is gone. So layer masks are a great way to maintain the image below the photo, so if you make a mistake or if your mask is a little dirty, then you can go back in and fix it. We have the layer mask here now. We're just gonna make sure that's selected. You can see a little white outline around that. Come over to my brush tool here, and you can see here that if I switch the colors in the swatch here to black or white, that will determine what color I am painting on my mask, so that's whether I'm adding to the mask or taking away from the mask. So I'm going to use my black brush because my layer mask is white, and so when I paint the black brush over, that's going to erase parts of the photo. So I'm gonna use a big brush, nice soft one. I'm gonna just start painting over here. For this image, we don't have to be too particular about cutting out the bus because later on I am going to put a blur on it. So I'm gonna make the brush a little smaller, a little harder. I'm gonna come in here and just kind of brush around. If you wanted to be more intricate, you can use the pen tool, and basically you're just gonna go P on your keyboard, make a point, and then you're gonna follow the outline of the thing you're trying to cut out very intricately. Go around a curve, you just make a point, click and hold, and then drag. You'll see the handles come out. By using the white arrow, you can basically adjust those handles. If you wanna get rid of the handle, you can hold Option. If you click on the point, it will get rid of it. And continue. We don't have to be super perfectly intricate because I am going to blur this mask later. So forget about the pen tool for now. I'm gonna go back in and I'm gonna use my brush. So I'm gonna continue erasing around the photo. I just wanna show the bus. So again, I'm taking away some of the image, but if I change my brush to white, I can get that image back. So now that I've finished making my layer mask, you can see if I turn it on and off, it's just the shape of the bus. And if I turn on my background layer, you can see that the bus is on top of the layer of me. I can disable that layer mask. If I right click on the layer mask and show disable layer mask, we'll turn it off. If you enable it, it will turn it back on. So I'm gonna come down and I'm gonna drag this layer down to the new layer icon there, and I'm going to duplicate that layer. The reason why I wanna do this is because I'm gonna flatten that top layer, but I wanna have the layer mask there in case I want to use it later. A new layer, I'm gonna take the new layer mask layer that I made. I'm just gonna merge those layers together and turn off the mask layer. So now I have a flattened image of this bust. The reason why I'm flattening it is because I'm gonna put an effect on it. And I'm gonna go blur, motion blur, and you'll see this box come up here. We're gonna make sure preview is checked. That will allow us to preview the effects that we've made. And then I'm just going to kind of drag the distance on the blur until I'm happy with how it looks. And then I'm gonna take that layer and I'm just gonna move it to the left a little bit, just so it's a little bit out of frame, changing up the composition a little bit. So it's just a little touch in the corner versus taking over the whole photo. You zoom in, you look, you can't really tell that the layer mask is messy because it's blurred. So we're good to go. I'm gonna save that, and then I'm gonna go back into Lightroom, and that Photoshop file should be in Lightroom. So if you wanna do any cropping, any other post-production work on that photo, you can do that. All my PSDs are in Lightroom, then I will export them from there. So that is how you make a layer mask in Photoshop. A little messy, a little dirty, a little quick, but again, you can use the pen tool to do a more intricate mask, or you can use the brush tool for a little more of a messy mask. The brush tool works really well if you're trying to paint in skies, put in adjustment layers where you just want certain parts of the photo to be a certain color or a certain exposure. So that works really well. So play with it. Let me know if you have any questions. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell so you get notified when we post new videos. We'll see you on the next one. What are you at, guys? That was very Newfoundland. What are you at, boys? What are you at, boys? Welcome back to our channel. Today we're talking about how to make a layer mask in Photoshop. Let's go.